Greetings everyone, and welcome to part 2 of the 2012 DVD and Blu-ray collection overview. So last time we took a look at a bunch of the collector's sets and just sort of random action movies and stuff in the Blu-rays. Today we're actually going to take a look at the horror shelf. Well, the horror Blu-rays anyway. There's horror DVDs as well, which are all the way over here. We'll get to those when we get to those. So for now, horror Blu-rays, today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Okay, so welcome to the horror Blu-ray shelf. Yeah, so this is coming along nicely. Still got a long way to go. There's obviously, more sort of obscure stuff I'd like to get into the collection. This past year, there was basically a lot of mainstream series that I wanted to get caught up on, stuff that I'd missed and what have you, and that's essentially been my primary focus over the past little while. When funds permit, I'd actually like to get more things like this, like the Arrow collections, and there's a lot of stuff from Blue Underground that I'd like to get. A lot of the Dario Argentos have been re-released on Blu-ray, and I'd really like to get those and stuff like that. But in the meantime, this is the horror section. So I apologize for all the glare. It's really hard to get the lighting just right over here. I don't have much in the way of floodlights and stuff, so I'll try to compensate as much as I can when I pull them out to look at them. So here we actually have 2 copies of Donnie Darko. And the reason we have 2 copies is because one of them was faulty, and it was a gift, so I didn't have the receipt, and I just went and bought another one. But I had my discount at Best Buy at the time, so that was okay. And here we have the limited edition Steelbook of Shaun of the Dead, and the most terrifying horror movie of all, Hot Fuzz. Yeah, okay, I know that Hot Fuzz isn't really a horror movie, but hey, it has to deal with an evil cult and stuff, and it's pretty gory in parts. Yeah, basically I just put it together with Shaun of the Dead because, it's another Simon Pegg. Oh, shit, and there it goes. Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Opus. And thank goodness Blu-rays are nigh on indestructible. There we go. So anyway, these are both Canadian exclusive Steelbooks. Very nice. I like them. And speaking of Steelbooks, we have 4 more here. Let's spread them on out. Resident Evil. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hold a second. Let's see if we can get them all displayed here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I should mention that is not the 3D version of number 4. It's actually just the 2D version. That's all that was available in the Steelbook. But I thought these were just beautiful Steelbooks. I know a lot of people hate these movies, but I enjoy them for what they are. Just nice little sci-fi horror action romps. And what can I say? I'm a sucker for Mia Jovovich. Then we have The Descent, which I thought was just a fantastic film. Really enjoyed that one a lot. I should mention also, in case you missed it in the previous video, any Blu-rays here that we're talking about or that we're taking a look at, that I've done in-depth reviews or like videos specifically about those ones, I'll put the links to those videos in the description. So if you want to check out my in-depth reviews of these particular titles, you can. Actually, I think I've done reviews of almost everything on this shelf, so you can check those out. I did quite a lot of these for Halloween last year and stuff like that. I also do have a playlist of all the various horror and Halloween related videos I've done over the years, so you can check that out as well. So then of course we have House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, and I completely forgot to say anything about Psycho or My Bloody Valentine. Beautiful example of how good a classic movie can look on Blu-ray, and just a great all-around edition. And this is great because it has all the censored footage put back in. You can watch it separately or on its own. Or you can just watch the theatrical cut, whichever you prefer. And these two, well, basically, they're awesome. How's that for a review? Well, this isn't really a review, it's just an overview. And then we got a couple of Romeros. We got Land of the Dead, and we have Survival of the Dead with this cool lenticular cover. It's actually just a card. And that's the... I'm doing this like as if it does anything. And it's just the normal cover. Yeah, I do actually have Diary of the Dead on DVD. I also have Day of the Dead in the Arrow Video Edition right here. Very nice. I don't know why I don't have... Oh, I know. I didn't actually have it over here. I had it over here before, but I moved them over here because the glare was really severe here, so I just moved it over here for the video. Yeah. And then I have, speaking of the rest of the Romero Dead movies, I have Night of the Living Dead on Laserdisc, and then I have the Elite Entertainment Deluxe edition of that, and then I have the Ultimate Edition of Dawn of the Dead. So I actually do have all 6 in one form or another, like across 3 different formats. Yeah, okay, enough of that. Then we have the Wrong Turn 3-pack, which is basically the first 3 Wrong Turn movies. Not bad. I honestly, I didn't think it was that great of a series. I like the second one the best. And then, another 4 movies here. We got Final Destination, Final Destination 2, Final Destination 3, and then The Final Destination. I have not seen the 4th one yet, and I should also mention this is the 2D, not the 3D version. Really, the only reason to watch this one is to watch it in 3D, because it really pales in comparison to the previous 3 in terms of story and just sort of fun factor. So, yeah, if you're ever going to watch the 4th one, make sure you watch it in 3D. Otherwise, it's just not anywhere near as much fun. Then we have a couple of Wes Craven's early films. We got Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes. These are the originals. These are not the remakes. These are the original 70s movies. Great stuff. The first time I saw them was actually on Blu-ray. Both of those were ones I'd been meaning to check out for years and only just got around to it. And then we got the beginnings of the Nightmare on Elm Street saga. This is the original 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street and the first 2 sequels, Freddy's Revenge and Dream Warriors. I was a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan. I actually used to have all 7 of them on Laserdisc. I had the first 4 or 5 on VHS back in the day. Never actually got them on DVD. I kind of skipped over the DVDs, and then I'm in the process of collecting them on Blu-ray. There's actually a really nice UK set, which I believe is region-free, that has all 7 movies and tons of extras. So I might see if I can import that one at some point. And some more Wes Craven. Got a lot of Wes Craven stuff here. What can I say? I love the man's work. We got Scream 1, 2, 3, and 4. Great stuff. Again, this was a series that I had completely missed out on and did not see until I picked up the Blu-rays just this past year. And I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the whole series. I like that it's a continuing saga. I enjoy the self-referential humor and the, just kind of jabs at all the horror movie cliches and stuff. I think it's a lot of fun. Then we have The Collector, which I actually have not watched yet. I got this for like $4. But, yeah, around Halloween I was just basically looking for any kind of horror movies I could find that I hadn't seen yet. And that one was cheap, so I got that. I also picked this one up around Halloween, 30 Days of Night, based on the comic book. I guess technically that could go on the comic book shelf, but yeah, let's face it, it's more at home in the horror section. But there we go. And then we got Dorian Gray. Great movie. I really don't see a lot of people talking about it, which kind of surprises me because I thought it was really well done. But, yeah. And some people might debate whether this belongs in the horror section, but I don't know, maybe sci-fi, maybe horror. It's kind of hard to classify. I just put it in the horror because, I mean, there is some pretty disturbing moments in there. The butterfly effect. And I should mention this is the director's cut, even though all the information on the package suggests that it's the theatrical cut. But it actually is the director's cut. And then we have The Cell, which really needs to get a retransfer. It's not a bad Blu-ray, but it's not as good as it could be. Because, I mean, The Cell is a very visual movie, and, really deserves to have those visuals pop. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Every horror fan needs to have this movie in their collection. It is just hilarious. Great stuff. And another one that I think every horror fan should have in their collection, Trick or Treat, a wonderful homage to the classic anthology horror films of the 70s and 80s, and, you know, quite an entertaining movie in its own right. A lot of dark humor in there, not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I really enjoyed this one a lot, and it's become like a traditional Halloween movie now. And then, of course, Drag Me to Hell. I think everybody has this one, but Sam Raimi's long-awaited return to horror. Great stuff. I still need to pick up Evil Dead 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. I have them a couple times over on DVD. Good stuff. A couple of ghost stories here. We'll just put them next to each other. We got An American Haunting and The Haunting in Connecticut. This is the movie version of The Haunting in Connecticut, not the documentary version. I understand the documentary version is actually better, so I'm going to have to check that out at some point. I thought those were both okay. I didn't think they were great. I mean, they didn't really make a huge impression on me. And then we got the 2010 version of The Wolfman. I'm a huge fan of the old Universal Monsters movies, which you'll see when we get over to the DVD section. And look at the horror stuff there. But, yeah, I actually enjoyed this one a lot, although it is quite a departure from the original 1941 film. Obviously a lot gorier and whatnot. And speaking of the Universal Monsters, we got Van Helsing, which is basically just a huge tribute to the old Universal Monster movies, with good old Hugh Jackman there as a strapping young, you know, slightly more hunky Van Helsing. And of course we got the first season of The Walking Dead. They actually just recently put out a 3-disc special edition of this. This is the original 2-disc release. Oops, and it's falling apart. Ah! There we go. Okay. This is the original 2-disc release. I would like to upgrade this to the 3-disc version because it's quite nice. And then I'll give you another look at the Day of the Dead here. And then we got the Arrow video releases of Phenomena by Dario Argento and Day of the Dead by George Romero. Very cool stuff. These are UK releases, but they're region free. So people here in non-region B land can enjoy them. And that is it for the Blu-ray horror shelf at this time. As funds permit, I would definitely like to add a lot more to this. I don't consider this a definitive collection by any stretch. I mean, basically, I've covered some of the more recent franchises. You know, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, what about Saw? Have you never seen Saw? It's like, actually, no, I haven't seen Saw. I was kind of waiting for them to finish all the sequels, and I figured I'd pick them all up in one go and have a marathon. But, and no Friday the 13th either. Basically, I'm waiting for them to do like some kind of definitive collection of that. I was never a big Friday the 13th fan. I would like to get the Halloween movies. I would like to get the rest of the Nightmare on Elm Streets. But the ones that I'm most interested in are the more obscure stuff, like the low-budget stuff from the 70s and 80s, more of the Italian stuff, things like that. That's what I really want to get more of into the collection. Yeah, stuff like that. It'd be nice if they started putting out some of the Hammer horror stuff, actually. I'd love to get some Hammer stuff on Blu-ray. I think that'd be awesome. Alrighty, well, that is it from me to you for now, so we'll see you next time when we take a look at the sci-fi Blu-rays. So until then, thanks for watching, and sayonara.